Thank you, everyone, for coming today. We are here to talk about establishing a foundation for digital transformation at Peerless Pump, one of our awesome clients here. So who you're going to be hearing from today, I'll be your host, Lindsay, just kicking things off, and I'll wrap us up at the end. You'll be hearing also from Margaret McKinney, who is our manufacturing practice lead here at Torrent Consulting. And then we're going to talk to Scott Patterson, who is the VP of Fire Business at Peerless Pump. So our overview of the agenda here. So we'll start things off with a company overview, hearing about what Peerless Pump does. Then we're going to talk about the foundation for digital transformation that took place. We're going to actually hop into a really cool demo midway through the presentation and kind of show you a little bit of behind the scenes of what happened. And then we'll wrap things up by talking about the future vision and then always saving time at the end for any questions. All right, so we'll get started. I'll pass it over to Scott to tell us a little bit about Peerless Pump.
Great. Thank you, Lindsay, and thanks for having me join today. Our goal is to share our experience in this digital transformation and for you to take some inspiration from what you hear today. 3 to 4 years ago, I was attending these similar webinars to gain information and understanding to be able to launch what we're now, the journey that we've now started. Peerless Pump Company is an Indianapolis, Indiana-based company. We've got facilities in 4 different states and operations. We're run by Grundfos, which is a pump company based in Denmark. It's a global leader in water solutions. Here at Peerless, we're an industrial pump manufacturer. We sell horizontal, vertical, and suction product into the industrial, water utility, commercial building, and fire pump space. I am responsible, as Lindsay said, for our global fire business. Peerless produces engineered products in a made-to-order and engineered-to-order production environment. We sell primarily through distribution, but we do sell larger engineered-to-order projects direct to end users and also do some business directly to key accounts. You'll find Peerless pumps sold into more than 40 countries annually, with probably pumps over the course of our history sold into probably 75 countries around the world. As a company in business for 101 years, we're definitely proud of our past, but looking to innovate the future, just like our founders did a century ago, albeit with a slightly different set of tools. So with that, let's take a look at our tech stack. Peerless, as we talk about our tech stack, focus on the application layer applications that we have, starting with Microsoft. So if Microsoft has it, we generally have access to it. For our personal productivity, in recent years, we've adopted Power BI to surface data. We'll talk about. We're really in a transition now from Power BI to some of what Salesforce has provided us. We are a heavy user of SAP as our ERP system for planning, production, sales, finance, and HR. Our parent company, Grundfos, has a single-digit customer number in SAP. So we're entrenched in SAP. We have the access to the CRM side of SAP, which we primarily use for our sales operations back-end business, along with order entry, some shopping cart functionality there for our aftermarket business. As I mentioned, we have access to SAP as a CRM for sales activity, but we typically don't use it. Peerless has a tool for order configuration called Peerless Express. Its owner is Revlize and called IntelliQuip. Some of you may have heard of IntelliQuip. It's widely used in the industrial space. We also have a software that provides us visibility into our installed base, which is Entitle Insights. We have a Palo Alto-based company that we have been engaged with for about 6 years that helps us understand where our assets are installed, and they use a lot of AI to generate predictive sales activity there. So that's our tech stack prior to Salesforce. Salesforce, we've adopted Manufacturing Cloud for sales planning, customer interactions. the CRM side of things. Marketing Cloud, we are definitely in our infancy with Marketing Cloud and marketing automation, but we have made some inroads there and becoming much more proactive, marketing toward the different personas that we know are out in our business and those who want our product and need our product. Commerce Cloud, this meets our needs for subscription billing. We've got, and I'll talk later about one of our new business ventures in IIoT that requires subscription billing. And it's also the basis for our future e-commerce initiatives. Service Cloud, I'm a service guy at heart, and so VRA is a visual remote assistant. It's a really cool tool. You'll see us talk a little bit about that later, but we use that in our service operations. We also use case management there, and we're in the process of changing and adopting case management all across of our customer service, but also extending this out into our complaint and warranty systems to help manage better that interaction with our customers. MuleSoft provides automation and integrations of our different applications. This does heavy work behind the scenes, and it really allows us to tie things together. And then finally, Data Cloud exposes and unifies all of our data. Salesforce, SAP, Peerless Express, and Entitle all come together in the Data Cloud. It's also our data lake, the basis for AI, and we certainly know it's a really good customer data platform. So why invest in digital transformation at Peerless? The long and the short of it, we needed two things. We needed to solve issues around demanding customers. We're all expecting more of a consumer-like experience. Amazon has conditioned us all to expect things quickly and easily, and that is extending into this industrial space as well, where we aren't delineating between consumer goods and industrial goods. We just want it now, and we need information now. So demanding customers are something that is driving this as well. Changes in the way commerce is conducted. We are talking about subscription revenue. We needed solutions there, prescriptive solutions driving e-commerce. We know that our parent company has pumps that will tell you when you need to replace the wear items. So our products, not there yet, but certainly our parent company is on the way and driving some of these prescriptive solutions. We're preparing for e-commerce and the changing face of what our customer base and what our customers expect. We desired improved data analytics to surface and tie together data for better decision making. And we knew we needed a foundation for AI, which Salesforce is providing us. And we needed to improve our operations. One of the things I've learned through our digital transformation is this term swivel chair. So we needed to improve efficiency in our operations and eliminate that dreaded swivel chair that's prevalent in a lot of our enterprise. So it really boils down to the customer 360 and customer experience were two things that we definitely needed to improve. And so those are the items that drove us. All of these efforts drove us in one way or another to get better insights into the customer to improve their customer experience. So I think with that, let's take a look at the solution demo. Margaret's going to walk us through some of the key features that Torrent made possible for us in Salesforce.
All right, thank you, Scott. So as he said, I'm going to toggle over here to Peerless's Salesforce instance. So Scott was mentioning, we want to start with kind of that customer 360 view. So here we are on the account page, and you can see, this is a familiar Salesforce account page. But one thing that we've done here to enhance the overall visual representation and user experience of being able to see insights into the different accounts that they have and the account structures that they have got is implementing the actionable relationship center within Manufacturing Cloud, which is this tool here. It allows them to visually see the relationship with the account to integrated data like assets coming from and title, as well as account locations. And in addition to that, contacts, customer sites, those cases that are active. Obviously, this isn't the comprehensive data that is associated with the account, but it gives a good, quick insight into what's going on at any given account, as well as some of the hierarchy that's available there. And Scott, I think you wanted to mention something around how this ties into your distributors and how you guys are interacting with some of this data, right?
Yeah, certainly. By tying together all these different pieces of information, we have in our go-to-market strategy, even through distribution, can be somewhat unique. So we sell through as a buy resell scenario, and also commissioning a distributor to sell a unit into the field. So one of our distributors may have 25 different customers that they sell to, and so we need to map all those customers through a distributor to understand that this information is used all throughout our process. So even back into at the time of shipment of goods. So credit collections understands who to call and who should be involved in the process. It ties together understanding of where we are selling into and keeping distributors honest to sell into their territories. And if we need to help manage conflicts, we can definitely see some of those conflicts arise before they're an issue. So all of this mapping, all of this information from installed base history through current interaction to customers, customers is driving tremendous amount of value and efficiency in our processes, and really uncovering data that we've never had access to before. And this view of tying together really 5 different entities into one is extremely powerful.
It's great to hear. So in addition to some of this customer insights on the customer page itself, Scott mentioned, we've got our standard sales processes that are going through Salesforce, but we've also leveraged advanced account forecasting within Manufacturing Cloud to be able to surface the both sales as well as the order data all in one place. So when we go to the forecast for this account, we can see the different metrics around opportunities, orders, and the forecasted revenue and quantity across different distribution channels that Peerless has. We've got made to order, parts and service, projects, all represented here, as well as the different manufacturing locations that these products are being produced at, and the different product families that they belong to. So we're able to group by a number of different dimensions to give them valuable insights into these different metrics. From a opportunity perspective, we are integrating, as Scott mentioned, data from IntelliQuip. So being able to pull in the quoting data and that pipeline data to see real-time view into the opportunity pipeline, as well as integrating data from SAP to see the real-time revenue that's coming in as well. In addition, this is an interactable interface, so sales managers, as they get more information from their customers, they're able to come in here and update their forecasted quantities and revenues for any given month as they get to know more about what's going on at the customer. So I can go ahead and make those updates, and those are updated real time and impact this overall forecasted quantity and revenue that is reported in their analytics that they've got. Anything you want to add or add color to there, Scott?
Yeah, I would just say that this is it's really, we're in our infancy regarding our forecasting and extending that back into the process. We've got active projects going on, but it's extremely powerful. This is information and forecasting tend to look in the rearview mirror more so than we live in present day, and forecasting sometimes is a really interesting, educated guess. This is driving more tools into our sales team, and the sales team obviously are the folks that generally are um, the recipient of a good forecast or a bad forecast. So making things available to buy more stock, carry more quantity, decisions on back into the system on machining product based on forecasts, driving all of that into the operations is going to be really powerful, and we're already seeing some benefits from it.
It's great to hear. All right, the last little preview that we'll give you is into the Service Console. So this is where Scott was speaking to. We've got Service Cloud up and running here, supporting case management as well as the commissioning process for the Fire Connect business. So I've got a queue here with a case. I can open that up. And this is where I'm able to pull in that visual remote assistant, that the VRA tool that Scott mentioned. This is a really awesome tool that allows the Peerless team to send either via email or SMS an invite to video share from the customer's site, so that they have the ability to assess what the site looks like. Do they have all of the materials, or are is the space ready for Peerless to come in and install the tool that they need? Now, I believe that Scott, you mentioned this is being used in a number of different places. You're exploring other areas to leverage the visual remote assistant. Do you want to speak to that a bit more?
Yeah, we found that we're only bound by our creativity to solve problems and how we solve them here. VRA was a no-brainer when it came to a service standpoint. So sending a VRA link to someone who's claiming warranty on something, or they have an applications problem at a site after the fact that we wanted more insight into. So VRA was when we couldn't send a service engineer, couldn't project service into remote places, or even had capacity to send a service engineer. Being able to respond quickly with VRA at least gets us information and shows responsiveness to our customers. So that was the initial use case. We've moved to find other really cool things. We have VRA used in our sales and upfront applications engineering team now, where an AE can send a VRA link to a distributor or an end user to see the condition of a pump room or see the condition of piping that affects our product and affects the decisions we make. So we're extending the VRA into all aspects of the business, and the sky's the limit for VRA, and really being able to, we're based out of Indianapolis. Indy and Houston tend to be our epicenters of knowledge, and sometimes projecting that around the world is a challenge, but VRA has allowed us to project our knowledge base and our expertise in places where we typically would put somebody on an airplane and take a considerable amount of cost and time for one interaction. The same AE, service engineer, solutions engineer, can now be in 10 different places in the same day and solve 10 different customer problems in the same day potentially. So it's really helpful. It's really really cool, and we've got pockets of folks that are finding new ways to use this on a daily basis.
That's awesome. Great. Well, let's head back into the deck, and I'll hand it over to you to speak a little bit more to some of the use cases that you've discovered around Salesforce and some of the outcomes that you're seeing.
Yeah, so the first use case is really around understanding our customers, and we needed to take all of this information and interactions that we have. It's always been a desire to understand our customer better, but the systems that we had in place and sitting in maybe 3 or 4 different customer interactions at the same, trying to piece all those together, quite honestly takes a lot of time, and not everybody had the access they needed, or whatever it may be, to find out all the information that you would want to know prior to entering into a solution. So really, in an effort to drive that, the solution here is really the data integration and unification of all that data into one single source of truth, which we're now surfacing and uncovering. And our forward-facing team, so probably 1/3 of all employees at Peerless now have access into SAP as this engagement layer, and can look at one source of truth for these interactions. So that data integration and unification has been a tremendous outcome, and it's providing the foundation for everything that we do. The next use case is I referred to our IoT new business. It's called Fire Connect, and Fire Connect is a remote monitoring solution for fire pump rooms. In a fire pump room, that provides boosting pressure for water, wet sprinkler systems. So you find them in every large box store that you go to, hopefully the hotels you go to, stay in at night, large commercial industrial buildings and spaces. That's where this product can be utilized. But it brought upon new challenges to us. We have largely sold through distribution, and our tools and all the tools that we have access were built for this communication to distribution and not to end users where this product is sold. So we lacked everything from a CRM for sales initiation and customer communication through case management, um, you know, commissioning, and then on into recurring revenue cycles, and then proactive selling into that when we know that there's a problem with a system. So that's what initially brought us to Salesforce, is trying to solve for this situation. In my previous job, I was running this new Fire Connect business and getting it off the ground, and I knew that I couldn't scale the business without a tool. So we engaged Salesforce and Torrent for this use case. And now it's used in all of our prospecting, sales interactions, customer success, service, and the aftermarket side of recurring revenue and prescriptive services. So our team uses this 100% to run their business. It's indispensable at this point in time. It's probably saved us from hiring 2 people. So that's a significant savings right there. And so the efficiency and the visibility and the process itself tailored for this specific business has been outstanding and really allowed us to scale the business, attract new customers, and keep customers really excited. We've got 100% subscription renewal rate at this point in time on this business that's about 3 years old. So that's probably the best testament to the viability of this business and our use of Salesforce. The next business case, this need to understand a customer better from the time they quote, their orders in process, their backlog, and then their installed base. What opportunities do they have in their areas, or should they be seen in their areas? So we use this for all sorts of different things, from decision making, customer interactions. We brought in sales data. We unified 3 different systems to give you transparency to all of the customer sales activity, and that allows the different groups that are involved in and have this access to Salesforce to speak from the same customer and or an opportunity, see case management, see the fact that somebody may have had a warranty claim yesterday, and maybe today is not the best day to ask for that PO, that they need to handle a situation, provide a little bit more care and concern than trying to drive new business today. So before, we didn't have that tie-in. So it's led us to less embarrassing situations with customers and more prescriptive and better solutions for customers. It's helping us scale and drive business and provide much better customer service than we've had in the past. So this is probably the point that I'm as excited as I am about VRA, just understanding our customer 360, their entire environment, what's around them, who's a winner, who's maybe losing more than they should. How do we help them? Who needs extra help and training? Holding people accountable. All of those things are byproducts of this sales order data unification that we've been able to put together. And then finally, this somewhat goes hand in hand, but sales key account visibility. One of the things that COVID brought to us was some customers, in an effort to cut out get the best product possible, best information in the quickest amount of time, brought us a lot of more key account activity than we've ever had in the past. And so our team is selling all sorts of solutions, whether it's new pumps or retrofit pumps, Fire Connect, service, projects. So we have a division down in Houston, Texas that packages pumps. So bringing everything that a customer needs in a pump system in a package, and then it's kind of a more plug and play solution. We have all these interactions, and we needed to accommodate 3 different groups into that stream to provide better customer interactions and really drive sales order velocity. So we've been able to drive and do that, and once again sing from the same sheet of music, so to say. So it's been exciting to see the benefits of that, and now tie together, really eliminate some redundancy and eliminate repeated work that was being done as well. So we've seen a good amount of efficiency, not just in customer interactions. So it's exciting to see, and we continue to see sales growth in key accounts as a result of, I believe, in part, definitely this use of Sales Cloud and Salesforce, and the work that Torrent's done to help us enable that. So these are the first of many use cases that we've identified and have solved with Torrent's help. But it's, all of this is what we're doing now. I think it's important to talk about where we were to help you out, and then talk about where we believe we're going for the future. So with that, we can take a look at this next slide. So the foundation for the future, in 2022, 23, if I go back into 2020, 2021, I was sitting on webinars and doing due diligence on different CRM systems and talking to different people. But we've eventually got off the ground, and we piloted with our Fire Connect team. So a small team focused on this new business venture and talking about what possibilities there could be. And we ran, in the early days, Fire Connect independently of everything else. So there was no integration into anything, not into SAP, not into anything that we're doing. We just used it as an engagement layer to solve these B2C problems that we had. We had such success there that it made it possible to go into what we've now implemented in our driving adoption toward, which is this rollout of Salesforce to our entire engagement layer. So as I mentioned, about a third of our company has access to Salesforce to drive the things that we've already talked about, but this customer 360 pipeline, orders, installed base, all customer communication. Why not? I say all, ideally all. We all know that not everything's in there, but we're striving to get that in there. Our marketing cloud implementation is going well. We're now, we replaced a tool that probably many of us have used, which I won't name, but it's email based, and it worked, but it's the marketing automation that we now have is on point. It's saving us from hiring more people. We're driving customer focused, persona based marketing and campaigns. We're tying together things that there's something called a jockey pump, and I've always wanted to run a jockey pump campaign in a fire system, and now we have access to be able to do that. So that's very cool and exciting. So replacement type parts, replacement types activities we can market in Marketing Cloud. And then we've established this process for Fire Connect in this B2B, B2C business. And so this product lends itself toward mass distribution. It's the one product that we have that we could put on the shelf and sell. It's not a made to order or configured to order or engineered to order product. It can literally be bought off of e-commerce sent to a customer, and then with processes that we have around remote commissioning, can be commissioned for use in fire pump rooms. But we didn't have that access to the commerce or this portal, so now that's enabled as well. So that's exciting, and when we can decide, that's a upcoming implementation for us, Q4 or early next year, when we actually turn that on to drive this B2C use case. And then finally, running flying. You know, it's flying will be interesting, but certainly we intend to run and get into the future by extending this Salesforce environment into our customers' hands. So we have a probably 2-decade-old customer portal that we're looking to replace to drive ease of info sharing, self-service, transparency, and ultimately enable winning more together by creating more value for our distribution. You know, directing things to marketing toward end users, but pulling it through our channel, creating more opportunity for both our distribution and Peerless in total. So we believe that is a huge aspect of what we will engage in the future. You know, developing and embracing AI in sales and operations and customer service. We know that that's probably where the future lies. You know, we talk about a lot of the information that we have resides in it's hard to transfer, but you know, several of our team are now using ChatGPT, and then looking at things for the future, speaking into a database, our seasoned veterans speaking into databases to begin to build this knowledge base. And you know, we have a thought for the future that probably looks at AIAE, so artificial intelligence applications engineer, that can really provide a lot of solutions without a lot of our effort and interaction. So AI is something that we wanted to develop a foundation for the future. So what once was a vision has now become reality at Peerless. It's hard to believe that, you know, 4 years ago this was just a vision, and now we are. We know there are many more ways to innovate for the future. Our teams are finding those on a daily basis. We're extremely appreciative to have a partner like Torrent that is giving us wise counsel, developing solutions, and delivering on projects and timelines. So with that, if I haven't talked too much, I think we have some time for a Q&A. So Lindsay, back to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Scott.
Yep.
So we've got a couple questions that trickled in throughout. If you do have a question that you've thought of, please feel free to use the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen to submit those, and we'll try to get those answered for you. The first one that I saw come in, so I think this one would probably be for Scott. So they want to know, how are you able to get buy-in from leadership? So how did Peerless prioritize also the different Salesforce solutions that you were included in your digital transformation?
Yeah. So excuse me, buy-in's always fun, right? So it's change, and it's change management. I think it's, you know, I was largely responsible for this probably being here today from 4 years ago. I had a vision of what we could accomplish. I knew there was a way to do it better, and we weren't able to grow the business like we wanted to, and meet the challenges that we needed to face. So we needed to build that case for change. You know, there are several things that became the burning platform, literally. And so it was really about collecting information, tailoring it to what worked for us. You know, what worked for us early days was not to integrate it within SAP, because that was off limits, but we could use it as an engagement layer and not tie it together to any of the business, and experience it and draw from that. And so, you know, we started small, and we had a dumpster full of good ideas that are now in a landfill somewhere. But what ultimately we were persistent and drove toward solution on this Fire Connect business that provided us a great experience. It introduced us to Torrent, and we saw what the art of possible was. You know, back and forth and understanding how Salesforce worked and what Torrent helping us apply it to our business. So, that was an important first step. And then prioritizing how do you prioritize projects? Certainly, the initial pilot project was easy to understand, but the bigger need and the bigger bang for our buck was pretty clear, but difficult to attain without some integration. So really, we had to, if you look at what I want out of Salesforce and what I want to do, it's probably, I know it's very different than what our team is able to accomplish and the reasons behind it. So this data unification, tying together three sources of information, four sources of information into one platform was, while not sexy, it had to be done. And the benefit of doing that and doing the heavy lifting and working with key stakeholders and IS and IT and security and all other folks that we had to go through to make this happen, um, really has laid this foundation for the future. From there, it's about business need and bang for the buck, right? So all of our business cases have an ROI attached to them, or a need, or a clear and obvious need. So our team is looking at what made sense. Like, we're getting now toward this, the next steps of this, which are extending this environment to the customer's hands, where I think that will unlock just tremendous possibilities. And so, we meet as a management team, determine the strategic direction, and then we also just work like heck to make that happen. So, hope that answers the question.
Awesome. All right. So I think this one is probably going to be for you as well, Scott, maybe Margaret as well. So this attending wants to know, how did you manage variant configuration data between your SAP and Salesforce CPQ? Was it integration with, or did you completely migrate?
So,
Yeah,
and Margaret can probably take this.
yeah, I can probably start in there, Scott, and then if you want to add anything else. So the tools that we're using in Salesforce around the sales process are not Salesforce CPQ right now. I think as Scott mentioned, some of the quoting that they're doing is happening in the IntelliQuip Peerless Express system that they've got, and we're bringing that data in from a quoting perspective. And then that's going into opportunities, and then we're bringing in the actuals data, the order data, into Salesforce from SAP. So they are kind of being eventually unified, right, within Salesforce, but they are, separate from each other externally, right? So SAP, it does not house the quote configuration, from what I understand. So Scott, you can keep me honest there. But that's how we approach things in terms of the integration.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. So, and not to say that things couldn't change in the future, but the change management around, we had just migrated to this Peerless Express a couple of years ago and launched this. So it was a newer based tool that we had spent a good amount of time in development on. Pumps, because of their hydraulics, tend to be challenging. And the project to get to where we're at now is a multi-year project to launch this new configurator. So it was deemed, as long as we could integrate the data, which Torrent has done, then that was good enough for now. So.
Hopefully that answers your question.
Thank you. All right. A couple more questions I want to get to. So this next one is for you, Scott. So what challenges have you faced with user adoption, and how have you all overcome that?
Yeah, so user adoption's fun. It is a challenge, and sometimes I'm always surprised by who actually hops on board and who we have issues with. But all of it's based in our point of view and knowledge and the why. So why are we doing what we're doing, and what's in it for Peerless, what's in it for the individual user. So I often we often talk about casting a vision and then hooking each one of our individual work project products to that vision. Um, so along the way, there's trial and error, and some folks adopt much quicker and some don't. But we focus on the why and the business need, um, and not so much you know, we try to eliminate objections along the way, but it's really about getting people on board with the why and what's the benefit. I think just Salesforce email in and of itself, tying together integrated to Outlook and SAP, the search function, and this probably is what drives adoption as much as anything. The search function within Salesforce email search is better than Outlook and better than SAP. So you put in a job number in Salesforce, it pulls all the interactions within seconds versus Outlook may or may not get at it, and the other tools certainly don't get at it. So that's usually what starts the process, is a good experience with email, and then from there, just driving those interactions and asking questions about the interactions, the expectation that if we're talking to a key account and we miss a piece of information because somebody couldn't get on their iPhone and put in, hey, talk to Bob, and Bob's not happy today because of this reason. If one of our guys calls Bob and Bob said, I talked to Mike yesterday and Mike should have told you this, then that's a pretty clear accountability issue that we have. So um, there's no significant carrot that we've dangled out in front of people to drive adoption, although we have talked about it. One of the things that along the way that we wanted to do is to use a tool that is useful to our employees and useful to their careers. And so we looked at homegrown solutions or other solutions, CRM solutions, that probably didn't provide the value that having completed and worked in a Salesforce environment drove. So those that are really getting value out of Salesforce are taking Trailhead courses, are interacting with our super users and teams, and becoming more valuable as an employee themselves. And hopefully, Peerless is a place, an employer of choice, where people want to use that skill. But we know that maybe it's time for other folks to move on in their career for whatever reason, or they need to change locations, and we don't have a remote work opportunity for them. We've given them some value in their interactions with Salesforce. So a lot of people appreciate and like that. It's also easier to attract new talent because of our use of Salesforce. So we appear to be an up and coming company in an industrial space as a 101-year-old manufacturer that is not stuck in their ways. So that's really helped. Most of our new folks that are engaging in customer communications or customer experience have some Salesforce background. So that's really cool to see too. So they're immediately on Salesforce.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a really good point. All right, I'm gonna keep us moving. I have two more questions that came through right now. Again, if you have another one, please submit it. I'll try to get to all. So this next one, they're more curious about the AI strategy that you talked about. So I know you spoke to this a little bit, but they want to know, what have you done so far to support this long-term AI strategy that you've talked about?
Yeah, so probably the biggest thing that we've done regarding AI is jump in with Salesforce, right? So if you get bombarded by Salesforce emails, or you signed up for this webinar, you'll get something that has AI related to it. We don't have a strategy yet, but we put in the infrastructure to then drive. We know that by engaging Salesforce, unifying our data, that then we can begin to benefit from the AI and forecasting and other things that certainly will come early in wave one. From there, we are much like we were to kick off this digital transformation. The management team is beginning to learn and key employees are beginning to learn about AI and learn and experience the good and the bad of it. The concerns that are had. And then, I would expect as a part of our strategy next year that this line of what is our AI solution, what is our AI strategy, will get more definition. But right now, we're really in the infrastructure stage of it, preparing. We now know what a data lake is. We now have unified our data. We now can see and apply AI that Salesforce is beginning to help us expose and use. And our AI strategy will come probably in 2025.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that, obviously, Scott hit on a number of points there, but just kind of setting the foundation is a critical piece of being ready to leverage AI functionality within Salesforce, and being able to have those data integrations, not just being able to see that data in the customer 360, but leveraging tools like Data Cloud and Manufacturing Cloud and some of the analytics that are available with those tools, just right from the get-go, are just hopefully setting Peerless up for success as they develop that AI strategy, that there's not quite as far to go as they would have been, a year or so ago, in, looking down the line of where they're going to go with AI in the future.
Yeah, I think one other thing that we're trying to make sure that we do is to, there's this trend to pull data out of places and then look at it. We're not trying to pull data. We're trying to work with the data inside of Salesforce. We're not trying to take it out, pull it out, put it in Power BI where there is no tie into all this information. So it'd be silly of us to continue to, sub-optimize that data, pull it out of a specific application, and look at it. And so we're trying to drive everything with a bias toward doing things with inside of Salesforce to benefit from this unification of data, and then in time AI. So we don't know that we're building this library, this repository of information that AI is using, but all these interactions and driving people into that will really help with that AI strategy in the future. So unknowingly doing things to benefit us for the future.
Love that. Okay, so I think this is the last question I have. I think you mentioned, Margaret, of Data Cloud, jogged this question here. So this attendee was wondering a little bit more about how do you see Data Cloud supporting the Salesforce platform long term? I know there's a lot of questions and thoughts about Data Cloud right now. So could you speak that a little bit more?
Sure, I can do my best. I think Data Cloud, from what I'm seeing on the Salesforce side, is really the platform of the future when it comes to Salesforce. I think Salesforce is investing a lot in new features and functionality that rely on Data Cloud to make sure that they, whether it be, from a data analytics perspective or integration perspective, as well as leveraging the power of Data Cloud for just big data processing and the AI features. I think that getting in on the ground level with Data Cloud will only serve any Salesforce instance to be set up for taking advantage of the many features that we know Salesforce rolls out every release. And obviously we don't know exactly what's coming down the pipe with Salesforce, not being able to have direct insight into that all the time. But I think from what we're seeing, the trend of some of the features that are coming out, a lot of the focus is on new development around Data Cloud and features on top of that. So I think Peerless, being set up on Data Cloud from this, implementation will only serve them. And then as others consider Data Cloud will only serve them to be able to take advantage of some of the functionality as it rolls out, versus having to, get Data Cloud set up first and then being able to take advantage of it. So I think that's what I've been seeing so far.
Margaret. Okay, well, that's all the questions I have for now. If anyone thinks of anything later that you would like answered, please feel free to follow up with us. You should have our contact information from our email sent. You can reach out to Anthony. Thanks for joining us today. Thank you, Scott, for being here. And thanks to Margaret. Appreciate everyone's time and hope to hear from you all soon.